Love isn't always gentle. Sometimes it's a fever that refuses to break, the kind that blurs tenderness and destruction until you can't tell which one you're feeling. These are the men who made that kind of love beautiful. From Paul Mescal's quiet heartbreak to Nicholas Hoult's elegant cruelty, from Robert Pattinson's haunted devotion to Jamie Campbell Bower's angelic chaos and Aaron Taylor Johnson's controlled fire, each of them turns desire into danger. They remind us that passion and pain often speak the same language, that being loved deeply can feel a lot like being consumed, because real intimacy isn't safe. It never was. It's dark, fragile, and addictive. And maybe that's why we keep chasing it, because somewhere between pleasure and ruin, we feel most alive. Paul Mescal doesn't act love. He feels it. Every role he takes feels like he's remembering something he shouldn't. A touch, a breath, a goodbye that still burns. He isn't the fantasy of the man who saves you. He's the one who holds you while everything falls apart. In Normal People, he turned the smallest gestures into earthquakes. A hand on a knee, a look across a classroom, a whisper that felt heavier than confession. Paul's Connell became the blueprint for modern intimacy. Awkward, vulnerable, real. He made shyness erotic. He made silence seductive. But his magnetism isn't only about softness. There's danger inside his quiet. When he loves, it feels like drowning. Warm at first, then overwhelming. In Aftersun, he carried that ache into fatherhood, turning grief into something painfully tender. You don't watch him, you absorb him. His emotions bleed through the screen until you're suddenly crying for reasons you can't explain. Paul has that Irish melancholy, the kind that makes beauty look tragic. The tousled hair, the heavy eyes, the way his voice cracks mid-sentence as if the truth costs him something. He's proof that vulnerability can be its own kind of dominance. Off-screen, his allure deepens. There's humility in the way he moves through fame. Quiet, self-effacing, uninterested in spectacle. He walks red carpets like he's running late for something more important. His suits are simple, his expression half amused, half haunted. When he smiles, it feels accidental, like sunlight breaking through rain. That restraint is what makes him irresistible. He doesn't perform for desire. He lets it find him. The queer gaze adores him for this reason. He embodies emotional masculinity. The kind that listens, trembles, and still stands tall. Paul is the man you want to protect and the one you know will ruin you just by being honest. In interviews, he talks about heartbreak like someone who's lived there too long. "I think love is supposed to hurt a little," he once said. Maybe that's why we can't look away. Because his idea of romance isn't fantasy. It's exposure. It's the terrifying beauty of being seen. Even when he's silent, his body tells stories. The clenched jaw, the swallowed breath, the eyes that can't decide between love and loss. Every frame of him feels alive, dangerous because it's so human. Paul Mescal represents the new era of seduction, where tenderness is the weapon and honesty is the trap. He doesn't dominate your attention. He earns it by being heartbreak you can touch. In 2025, he's not just the boy who loves too deeply. He's the man who reminds us that the most dangerous kind of love isn't the one that breaks you. It's the one that lets you feel everything while pretending to heal. Because Paul Mescal doesn't give you love. He gives you yourself, reflected through longing you can't escape. Aaron Taylor Johnson looks like temptation sculpted out of discipline. Every movement is controlled, every glance measured, every breath deliberate. as if he's constantly aware of how dangerous it would be to let go. He's not the man who chases chaos. He's the one who contains it, and somehow that's even more seductive. From Kick-Ass to Nocturnal Animals and Bullet Train, Aaron has evolved from teenage mischief into something far more complex, the embodiment of elegance under tension. There's always something burning beneath the surface, rage, desire, fear, but he never lets it spill. That restraint becomes the fantasy. You don't watch Aaron, you study him. You wait for the moment he might break, the tiny crack in the armor that makes beauty human again. And when it happens, it feels intimate, like he's letting you see something you shouldn't. What makes him dangerous isn't his perfection. It's his patience. He doesn't flaunt his power, he understands it. That's what makes people want him. You get the feeling he knows exactly what you're thinking and enjoys not saying a word about it. There's something divine about his stillness. In Nocturnal Animals, he turned cruelty into an art form, quiet, methodical, hypnotic. In Bullet Train, his charisma radiated through violence like a saint reciting scripture in the middle of a gunfight. Every role feels like confession wrapped in control. But off-screen, the myth deepens. Married young, fiercely private, immune to Hollywood chaos, Aaron defies the fame formula entirely. He's the man who doesn't play the game, yet somehow wins it. There's a sacred quality to that. Rebellion through silence. His beauty isn't loud or flamboyant. It's masculine minimalism. Tailored suits, clean lines, quiet gold. The kind of luxury that whispers rather than shouts. His physicality feels almost monastic, like he's mastered the art of inhabiting his body without needing to prove it. For queer audiences, Aaron represents a different kind of desire, one rooted in discipline and danger. He's the archetype of controlled passion, the man who looks like he could destroy you, but chooses not to. At least not yet. He's not the boy you dream of. He's the man you pray for, and fear will actually answer. In a time when vulnerability has become the new masculinity, Aaron remains an enigma, a reminder that mystery still has power. His silence speaks. His stillness seduces. His self-possession feels almost sacred. In 2025, Aaron Taylor Johnson has transcended the idea of hot. He's mythic, the embodiment of danger disguised as devotion. Because real desire doesn't need noise. It doesn't need to chase. It just needs to look at you once and make you forget how to breathe. Aaron doesn't offer love or lust. He offers worship and the quiet terror of being the one he chooses. Nicholas Hoult looks harmless at first. That perfect smile, those polite blue eyes, the kind of beauty that feels safe until you realize it isn't. He's the man who holds the door for you, then locks it from the inside. Ever since Skins, Nicholas has carried an almost surgical precision in the way he performs desire. His characters don't chase love. They disassemble it. Whether as the calculating Peter III in The Great or the unnervingly calm lover in The Menu, he turns charm into a weapon. Soft, graceful, devastating. He's mastered the art of emotional manipulation through stillness. You think you're watching him, but he's studying you. The pause before he smiles, the slight tilt of his head, the quiet that arrives a second too late. It's the language of seduction disguised as courtesy. Nicholas embodies the fantasy of control. He's beautiful, articulate, intelligent, the perfect man you tell yourself you can trust. But there's always something cold glinting beneath the warmth. In every role, he teases the audience with the possibility that the danger isn't outside the relationship. It is the relationship. In The Favorite, he was ruthless in Velvet. Every gesture, every smirk felt like a kiss with a knife behind it. That's the paradox that makes him irresistible. His cruelty is never loud, it's precise. He doesn't break hearts, he rearranges them. Off-screen, Nicholas carries that same disarming balance. He's courteous, soft-spoken, almost shy in interviews. Yet even when he laughs, there's something unreadable about him. You get the sense he's 2 steps ahead, thinking, observing, withholding. That restraint is magnetic. He never gives the camera everything. He makes you earn it. His fashion mirrors the man. Tailored minimalism, crisp suits, sharp lines. No chaos, no mess. Just perfection so clean it feels dangerous. Like a blade polished too smooth to see. For queer audiences, Nicholas Hoult represents a specific kind of desire, the one that feeds on ambiguity. He's not the villain or the hero. He's the moment you realize they might be the same person. He blurs the boundaries between tenderness and manipulation, between love and possession. He once said, "I like roles that unsettle people." And that's exactly what makes him unforgettable. He doesn't want your admiration. He wants your discomfort, because that's where honesty hides. In 2025, Nicholas Hoult has become the face of beautiful deceit, the kind that makes you question your own craving for control. He reminds us that love isn't always a confession. Sometimes it's a performance we willingly believe. He's the smile that says, "I won't hurt you," and the eyes that promise, "I already have." Because Nicholas Hoult doesn't play dangerous men. He plays men so perfect you never see the danger until it's far too late. Robert Pattinson was never meant to be ordinary. He entered pop culture as a teenage fantasy. But somehow he refused to stay one. What he became instead was far more dangerous, a mirror for our darkest desires. Even after Twilight, the image of him lingers. Pale skin, trembling mouth, eyes that always seem half asleep, half starving. He made restraint erotic. He made distance magnetic. Robert doesn't play lovers. He plays hauntings, the kind that return long after the story ends. In Good Time and the Batman, he evolved into something raw and unrecognizable. The romantic hero decayed into an emotional phantom, moving through shadows like someone allergic to light. His masculinity isn't about dominance. It's about decay, about what remains after beauty starts to rot. He's the embodiment of what the queer gaze adores. Fragility dressed as control. You can't tell if he's the prey or the predator, and that uncertainty is intoxicating. His performances ache with contradiction, hungry yet detached, soft yet unyielding. Every look he gives feels like a secret, and every secret feels like a kiss you're not supposed to want. Robert once said he's drawn to roles that make him uncomfortable. You can see it, the way he plays desire like an illness. The trembling hands, the hollow laughter, the silences that last one breath too long. He doesn't seduce you. He confesses you. Off-screen, he's just as elusive. The laugh too loud for a man who seems so withdrawn, the charm that feels like camouflage. There's always a sense that he's guarding something, a heartbreak, a memory, a sin too tender to name. That mystery isn't an act. It's the performance of being seen and misunderstood at once. Robert's beauty works like gravity, slow, invisible, inevitable. He doesn't chase attention, he absorbs it. Cameras linger on him the way people linger on danger, unsure whether to run or stay. He's proof that seduction doesn't need to sparkle. It just needs silence and the promise of something that could ruin you. In a generation obsessed with clarity, Pattinson keeps the blur. His energy feels genderless, ageless. He can shift from saint to sinner in the same glance. For queer audiences, that fluidity is everything. He's not performing queerness. He's performing ambiguity, the sacred space where desire stops needing explanation. In 2025, Robert Pattinson stands as a ghost of every lover you've ever lost and every feeling you never said out loud. He's the ache that refuses to end, because when he looks at you from the screen, It's not just acting, it's memory. He's asking a question you don't want to answer. Do you miss him? Or the way he hurt you? Robert Pattinson doesn't just haunt the screen, he haunts you. Campbell Bower doesn't just walk into a scene, he glides in like a secret that already knows it will ruin you. He's pale, elegant, and carved out of contradiction, the kind of beauty that feels like punishment for believing in angels. From Twilight to Stranger Things, Jamie has always existed somewhere between heaven and hell. Too pretty to be human, too haunted to be divine. His presence is theatrical but never false. Every flicker of his eyes feels like temptation dressed in velvet. He makes desire look sacred and sin look holy. When he played Vecna in Stranger Things, it wasn't just the horror that mesmerized people. It was the elegance beneath it. He doesn't act evil. He understands it. He finds the intimacy and cruelty, the poetry and control. That's what makes him dangerous. His darkness isn't loud. It's seductive. In interviews, he speaks softly, almost like he's protecting his own voice. There's humility there, but it's threaded with mystery. He talks about pain like a painter describing color, about art like it's the only way to survive himself. You sense a man who has touched both chaos and calm and brought something beautiful back from each. Jamie's allure lies in how unashamed he is of contradiction. The tattoos, the lace shirts, the cross necklaces, they all coexist effortlessly. He's both saint and sinner, rock star and monk. His queerness isn't about labels, it's about atmosphere. He radiates the kind of androgyny that doesn't ask for approval. It just exists, unapologetically, seductively, completely. There's something about his voice, too. That raspy whisper that feels like a secret being exhaled directly into your ear. He doesn't just speak, he enchants. You don't listen to him to understand, you listen to feel. He once said, "I think love is the most terrifying thing." Maybe that's why his performances feel like prayers whispered through blood. He gives you vulnerability but never safety. When Jamie looks at the camera, it feels like he's inviting you to follow him, knowing you won't come back the same. For queer audiences, he's a symbol of beautiful defiance, proof that darkness can be glamorous, that sensitivity can be power. His energy says, "You can't save me, but you'll try anyway." Off-screen, that danger lingers. Whether he's performing with his band or walking a red carpet in mesh and eyeliner, Jamie turns every appearance into art. He doesn't demand attention, he summons it. In 2025, Campbell Bower stands as the perfect embodiment of dangerous love, the kind that feels like poetry written in flame. He's not here to be adored. He's here to remind you that desire and destruction often share the same face. Because when Jamie smiles, it's not an invitation, it's a warning, and we never listen. Love isn't meant to be safe. It's meant to wake something ancient inside you. The ache, the fear, the beauty of being undone. From Paul Mescal's trembling tenderness to Nicholas Hoult's quiet cruelty, from Robert Pattinson's haunted silence to Campbell Bower's divine chaos and Aaron Taylor Johnson's dangerous calm, each of them reminds us that desire is not decoration. It's devotion. It's the part of love that dares to hurt. Because the truth is, we don't crave perfection. We crave intensity. The kind that scars, the kind that lingers, the kind that makes you whisper never again and still come back for more. If love is a risk, these men are the proof that some dangers are worth taking. Subscribe and tell us, who would ruin you the most?